plot of dirt that's from Israel to be able to worship God.
All right.
And so he's changed that. But Christ came trying to battle against all of those physical type things. And that's what he was doing at that point. We better move on, huh? Verse 18. It says, "In this thing the Lord pardon our servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leaneth on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, when I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, the Lord pardon our servant in this thing." So now he's really asking for forgiveness for what he's going to have to do in the future. So basically, when he goes in with his king, when he goes to his king goes into worship. He's his right-hand man. And so he's right there with him. And so he's the one that's holding the king's hand when he bows down to worship whatever God that he worships. Right? And so based on the sheer fact that he's holding the king's hand, when the king bows down, he has to bow down with him. And so he is asking for forgiveness already for having to do that, because he's saying, I'm going to worship the true God. But it may look like I'm worshiping this other God because I have to bow down with the king. And so he's really asking for forgiveness. He's asking if the Lord will pardon him and forgive him for that. Because he's making the oath that I'm going to worship God. I'm going to worship God. And so verse 19 says, "And he said unto him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little way." Elisha didn't even answer him. He didn't even answer him. He just told him, go in peace. Go ahead and go back home. Go ahead and do what you're going to do. Now here's where we take a twist. Verse 20. We take a twist. There's always some villain in there somewhere. But verse 20 says, "But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master has spared Naaman this Syrian in not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him." So now we have Elisha has already did this thing. He's already completed it. But he has a servant that's working with him. And it had to be a bitter taste in his mouth. He had to not like, this Syrian. He had to not like the Syrian army because they had conquered so much. And so, some people keep a bad taste in their mouth with things like that. And so here he is. He said that he let the man, he spared him. He let the man come here with all this money, all this gold, all this silver, and he spared him. He ain't take none of it. He let him go. He had to, Naaman had to have shown him all these 10 pieces of clothing that he had bought, these fine linen that he had bought, and all this silver and gold, and Elisha wouldn't take none of it. And then Gehazi said, man, he spared him. He should at least got a little bit of it, And so even he missed the whole point. He missed the point that Elisha was saying, you can't buy this. You can't buy what God has given you. So he was supposed to be, Gehazi was a servant of Elisha, but he missed the point altogether. Now think forward to Christ. And you think about how he was teaching, and even his disciples, he had to constantly keep teaching because they sometimes missed the point.
All right.
Fast forward to us. Even sometimes we miss the point. We miss the mark, we miss the point. And it's still about teaching. It's still about teaching. But yeah, Gehazi, he didn't say, well, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get me some of that. I'm gonna get me something. I ain't gonna let him just get away like that. He gonna have to give up something for what he received, man. His whole body got cleansed. He got new baby skin on. He got to give us something. And so look at verse 21. So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, "Is all well?" Naaman is generally concerned. Are you okay? And verse 22. And he said, "All is well. My master has sent me." So he done came with a straight up lie. He done came with a straight up lie. "My master have sent me, saying, Behold, even now there come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments." He done said that it's some prophet's sons are coming. He created a place and everything. He said they're coming from Ephraim. They're on their road traveling here now. And so if you just give me a talent of silver. So a little bit of silver and a couple changes of those fine clothes over there, it's going to take care of him. We're going to take care of this. I mean, he just didn't, I mean, he quick. He quick. He a Second Kings con artist. Okay? But look at verse 23. It says that Naaman said, be content. Take 2 talents. All right? So he even gave him a little more. And then he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of garments. And they gave them upon the 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. So in other words, Naaman put all that stuff, gave all that stuff to 2 of his servants and sent them back with him. But look what it says, verse 24. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. So in other words, he stopped them before they got all the way up to Elijah. He stopped them at his house and said, I'm going to take them now. And he put them in his house, and then he sent the men back on with Naaman, and then he went on and hid them in his house. And then it says, but he went in and stood before his master, and Elijah said unto him, whence comest thou, Gehazi? And he said, thy servant went nowhere. So in other words, and he had to know that Elijah is a man of God, that he's a prophet, so he had some connection with God. And people that'll lie to you, they'll just lie to you for no reason. And even now, he done lied to Naaman. Now he done ran back and got caught. Now he done lied to Elijah and told him, I didn't go nowhere. I've been here the whole time. And look what Elijah tells him in 26. And he said unto him, went not mine heart with thee when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it the time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? Elijah's making a mockery of it. You know, why you get some sheep and some ox and some more maid servants? Why you just get everything? You know, that's not what it was for. That's what he's trying to tell him. That's not what that was meant. And don't you understand that I had a connection, that I had a connection, and I felt you stopping and you going out to get this guy, and he just basically reprimanded him, and then kind of ostracized him about, you know, you got money and you got clothes, you should have got some oxen, some sheep, and everything else, because basically you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay for it. And look at verse 27, the last verse. It says, the leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. Now, you know, they had to take him to a whole nother level then. You know, because he not only cursed his disobedience, but because of his disobedience, it's gonna pass on to his disobedience will pass on to all his other generations. You know, and so, you know, we have to be careful with that. We have to be careful with that. But he's showing us, Elisha's showing us that, hey, this is the thing, and what God did, it was through grace, and it can't be bought with money. It can't be bought with money. And you can't go out and cheat for it, lie for it, and steal for it, or you'll be punished. That's right. And again, this is long before grace and mercy. You know, this is long before that. Long before that. But it's a powerful lesson, because we see things that are even way back then. We see things that are common to us now. Yes. We see things that are common to us now, and get the understanding that even now we're taught that, you know, salvation is not something that we can buy. It's not something that we can earn. It's something that's freely given by God, and we have to continually teach that, because there are people who believe that you can pay the biggest amount of money and sit on the front seat in the church, and that's what's gonna save you, and that ain't gonna be enough. We're not gonna be able to get enough for that. Very powerful lesson though, and Elijah was a very powerful man. Very, very powerful man. But any comments or any questions? Any questions? Anything? We okay? Some good stuff right here. That's some good stuff right here. It's a good story. It's a good one right here. Real good one. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your time. I appreciate the opportunity to teach. I miss doing this. It's kind of fun. I like doing this right here. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate John enjoying what he do. He's a teacher and a principal, and he loves caring, he loves bearing, and I know he likes sharing because he got a horse. And anytime somebody got an animal, I know them some caring people. Them people care, boy. Them some caring people right there. When you got a horse or an animal, you got. We got a presentation tonight. Everybody stand up. They got me in the class. Boy, Nick, I enjoyed teaching these kids tonight, and we're gonna ask them to pass the mic and tell what they learned in class tonight. We're gonna go from the least to the greatest. Start down there with him. I want you to talk loud in that mic. Let the church know what you learned tonight. Go ahead.
Obey your mama and daddy.
Amen. Give him a clap. Give him a clap.